Hi again. Again, I'm called Pete. This is the second video that I've done about the film María, Llena Eres de Gracia, the film by Joshua Marston. If you've just found this one first, you might want to watch the first video I did about this, which is all about the message of the director. This one, though, is going to talk about the relevance of the title, and I'm going to look as well at the theme of religion in the film, because I think they're very linked. Before anything else, as always, these are just my thoughts, so again, if you disagree, then that's fine. The idea of these is to provoke a bit more thought, for you to have a think about the film and come up with your own ideas, or to maybe agree, but take them a stage further. So again, this is a starting point. The idea of these is to help you with your A-level work, potentially university work. Again, I'm most specifically thinking about the WJ syllabus and maybe the essay questions, or potentially your presentation if you're doing the oral. So that's where they're coming from. So let's start with the theme of the title and the theme of religion. I'm going to start actually with the poster for the film, or the DVD cover, because I think that is that's where we should start. Most people will see a film through a trailer, or they'll know about a film through the trailer, or they might see the DVD cover, and that will say a lot. Here in the posters for this film and the DVD cover, we have Maria, played by Catalina Sandino Moreno. And she is kind of on her knees, and she looks like she's going to be taking First Communion, but instead of it being a communion wafer, it's actually one of the pepas containing the drugs, in this case heroin. So first of all, this is an immediate link with religion. We're taking one of the most kind of important, I guess, parts or symbolic parts of the Catholic faith, the act of taking communion. And it's kind of corrupting it. It's kind of corrupting it by, the body of Christ being replaced by drugs. So it's almost like, instead of taking in the good, we're taking in the evil. So that's an immediate starting point about the kind of the battle for Maria of what to do, of morality and immorality, of crime or of a path of honest life, for example. And also it means that the topic of religion is placed very firmly in the film as being a kind of a moral core, or a moral centre point, a kind of battle of what she should do. The second part, obviously, that links to that and the topic of religion is the name of the film itself, María, Llena Eres de Gracia, Maria, full of grace. So this comes from the Ave Maria prayer. Now in Spanish, this is how the prayer goes. Dios te salve, María, llena eres de gracia, el Señor es contigo. Bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. So that would probably loosely translate as, God save you, Maria, full of grace. The Lord is with you. Blessed are you amongst all women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb, Jesus. Okay, so every part of this prayer can be construed as having a relevance to the film. And I'm going to go through it kind of line by line and show you how that would be the case. Again, like I said in the first video, everything is there for a reason. So the reason the film title has been chosen this is because there's a message that Marston wants us to bear in mind. So because he's taken us back to this prayer, let's look and see if we can link parts of the prayer with elements of the film. So the Dios te salve, the God save you, and also the El Señor es contigo, the Lord is with you. I think I'm going to do those two lines together. I think that these two lines obviously relate to themes of both salvation and the idea of guidance. Maria is, in this film, on a bad path. She's not a particularly bad person. She has got her faults, she's got issues, but she's not a bad person. She's someone we like, despite maybe her stubbornness or her selfishness occasionally, but she's someone we like. She's not a bad person. She is caring, she does want things that a lot of us would want, better living and so on. But these have taken her down a path. She's being kind of tempted, if you like, by Franklin. We'll talk a bit more about that later on, into taking drugs. So she is going down a path where she's taking drugs. Well, she's not taking drugs, she's swallowed drugs, she's transported them, she's committed a crime, she's lying, There is a risk to her life, as we see in the tragic figure of Lucy. So, you know, her whole life existence is in danger, her morality is in danger. She could easily be swept up into the drug trafficking world. We know that it's not something you normally would just do once, as Lucy has shown us. It's something that you do it once, then you do it again, then you might do it again, and the risks multiply, and the risks of being arrested or dying or, you know, adding to your criminality, you know, becomes more and more. So this is kind of what she needs to be saved from. She's going down a sinner's path, and again we think here of the idea of the path to hell being paved with good intentions. Maria's intentions are good ones, really. She wants a better life for herself, better life for a child. She wants to be able to support her family a lot better. But this is the route she's taken, and it's a sinful route, as we see. So really there is an idea of the need to save herself, the idea of some point she's going to have to get herself off this path she's taken. And the figure of the religion is something that is there as a potential path of guidance to her, as a path of salvation. We see this at several times. The first part where we see religion being important to her really is in the church, in the early minutes of the film. This happens shortly before she has the conversation with Juan, where she tells him that she's pregnant, and they have the argument about where they should live. And eventually Maria realizes that Juan doesn't love her, and that she doesn't love him, and that he is not going to be the kind of person that she can live with. So, but before she has kind of taken that decision to tell him and to have this conversation, she goes to the church and she prays. And we can only imagine that at this point she's looking for guidance. She's looking for help as to what to do. She's obviously in a difficult position. You know, she's pregnant. Her whole life could change. She's deciding whether to, you know, whether she should live with Juan, whether she should carry on working, what she's going to do in the future. It's a really important point for her. And again, the person she turns, or the institution that she turns to for guidance and help, is the church. So we realise that religion is important to her. Now, again, throughout the film, and particularly in America, we see that she wears a cross. So this kind of religious support is with her throughout. Whether she pays attention to it or not is a moot point. And again, you could argue that she, throughout certainly after she first swallows the drugs in Colombia, and then progressively onwards in America, she doesn't act according to, necessarily always according to what a moral center point of compass. She's not acting morally, she's not acting honestly, or, you know, she's thinking of herself first, for example, and getting more and more into trouble. However, again, there's another turning point where religion intervenes, and she's had a major argument with Blanca. Maria has been criticising Blanca for always following her around, and then Blanca slags her off by saying how stupid she is. And again, you know, she can't believe how stupid Maria is to have swallowed drugs when she's pregnant. She clearly hasn't even thought about the impacts for her child. And this really affects Maria. She goes off walking straight after this massive argument, and then she sees a shop with various icons of Jesus in it. And again, it's pretty much straight after this where she then kind of seems to start reflecting on what she should do, clearly starts thinking about her baby and the responsibilities towards her baby, and then has the scan, finds out that her baby's fine, and suddenly the baby becomes extremely important to her. So this kind of religious moment, this appearance of a representation of Jesus, you know, as a reminder and a kind of a little push towards the right path, towards saving her. And again, from there, Maria starts thinking of her baby, of others, how to be a better mother, how she should be acting. There's a real kind of turning point in who she thinks about. So those two lines of the prayer give us ideas of salvation, guidance, and the importance of Maria's moral compass, or her religious faith, which eventually helps her decide the right thing to do. So again, the cross symbolism is important there as well. It's always with her. Let's move on towards the idea of being full of grace. Now again, in the first video I talked about this being a central message of the film, the moral journey, the physical and personal journey of Maria towards achieving a sense of grace. And again, we need to define what grace is. For me, this is a sense of maturity, a sense of compassion, a sense of honesty, being able to cope with adversity and do the right thing, of being able to think of others as much as you might do yourself, and put their needs and feelings first. So that's what I think grace is. And again, this kind of line of the film is, and the prayer is basically what this is about. It's about her becoming full of grace, full of maturity, realization, doing the right thing. Her name, if we just very quickly relate to this, Maria is obviously one of the most common names of women in Colombia in South America. It obviously links to Mary, Mother of Jesus. So again, that's one religious aspect you could talk about. But also I think it's important to realize that Maria as a name becomes... Maria kind of becomes symbolic of a lot of women, almost of all women. These are struggles that are global ones. These are struggles that a lot of other women face. She almost takes on... is kind of representative of the struggles of a lot of Colombian women, a lot of Latina women, and the struggles that they have. So I think Mary, the choice of Maria as a name is important for that reason as well, not just because of its religious connotations. And obviously the link to the prayer. The idea of her being blessed amongst all women. I'm not sure that we can kind of construe a huge amount here. I mean, you could say that, you know, she is seen to be blessed at certain points. She's very fortunate. She survives the interrogation scene, unlike the curly-headed, slightly older lady who is arrested. You know, the customs officials, or the drug enforcement agency, they might have arrested her, they might have chosen to take her in, they don't. She gets away with it. Similarly, her survival is quite fortunate. She gets there's a Haitian, presumably taxi driver, who takes them into Queens. She meets Carla, who gives her a lot of advice and support, and that is again is a blessing for her. It gives her a lot of luck. More important though is the last line, the bendito es el fruto de tu vientre. Blessed is the fruit of the womb. Again, there are two things that are inside Maria. We have the baby and we have the drugs, and there is a kind of a battle of what is more important. Now, there is a kind of a motif, a kind of a final message that Joshua Marston gives right at the end of the film in the airport, is after Maria has left Blanca and she's walking away, there is a kind of a poster, a banner on a kind of notice board behind her, and it says, "It's what's inside that counts." Now, this was part of a campaign to get people to not be part of the drug industry, to become mules, but it also serves as a very good message or motto for the film, if you like. It's what's inside that counts, both in terms of physical, like we have the battle of good and evil, the battle of what's more important for her, the drugs and the financial benefits that this will give, or the baby and the baby's health and being a proper mother and caring for others. There's a battle between obviously what's important for men. It's what's important is the drugs for the men. You know, Maria becomes a vessel, simple as that. She is a carrying case of drugs, and the life is not important, as we see with Lucy. So we have this as being, it's what's inside that counts. Blessed be the fruit of thy womb, either the drugs or the baby. Also, we could argue it's what's inside you as a person. It's what makes you a person. What type of person are you? Are you a good person? Are you a bad person? Which links therefore to the idea of the Maria full of grace and the path towards salvation and doing the right thing and the whole sense of personal evolution. So again, this kind of battle of what she should do, what's more important, could link very much to the blessed be the fruit of thy womb. And again, at the end of the film, she decides that the baby is what really counts. That's what should be the counts. That's what is more important. That's the kind of denouement of the film. The other thing that kind of helps her kind of towards this, I guess, is conversations with Carla. And again, I would, in terms of picking out the theme of religion, I'd like to pick out two scenes where we have kind of religious overtones. I think some of the most important scenes of the films are the two conversations with Carla. Firstly, when Carla is talking about the fact that Maria is going to stay in America. She's going to stay there because it's going to be the best thing for her baby, for her family. She talks about how important it is for her to be able to bring up her child in America and give it chances, how good it feels to give money back to her family. So again, there's a real message that Maria takes on. The second one is the scene where Don Fernando rings and tells Carla that her sister Lucy has died, and the fact that it comes out that Maria hasn't told Carla and has lied to her. This becomes a scene of real penitence. There's a real confession, and it's a final confession. It's the first time for quite a while that Maria has told the truth. She's been lying about why she's there. She's got her accommodation through false means. She hasn't, been truthful at all, and it all comes out. And at this point, her sins are revealed. This is kind of where every sin that she has committed over the course of the film really comes home to roost. And again, she asks forgiveness. She really, she's kind of praying for forgiveness. And there is a kind of moment of confession at this point. It's very much, again, her final turning point towards doing the right thing. She then obviously feels the need to get rid of the things within her. She kind of casts out evil by getting rid of the pepas that they had taken from the hotel. This is after that she finally gets rid of those. The money from that is given away to help the body of Lucy to go back to Colombia. So that kind of scene I see as being like a kind of a confession and the kind of release of the sins. The other scene I'd like to talk about as having kind of some religious relevance is her original temptation. If we think back to the scene with Franklin, where Franklin is driving her to Bogota, we can call this the recruitment scene, really. But also it's the temptation scene. It happens in a very pleasant place. It's very green, it's very florid. Again, if you wanted to make references, you could say this is very much like the Garden of Eden. It's a moment where things look very good. There's even some fruit there. There's the kind of fruit juice we see. I think it's maracuya, passion fruit. That they're drinking, and Franklin almost becomes this serpentine figure of trying to kind of coax or lure, recruit Maria into the drug world. He uses flattery, he uses mistruths, he lies to her, he really kind of wins her over, and it's a very kind of tempting her into, look at the money you could earn, think about how much easier it's going to be, how pretty you are. So again, you could look at this as being a kind of the fall, the leaving the Garden of Eden, being tempted onto the evil path, as being the starting point for the sin that kind of invades Maria, which she finally expunges towards the end. Okay, so anyway, that's hopefully quite enough of that. Hopefully that's given you a few ideas of what you might talk about in terms of the importance of the film title, and also the theme of religion throughout the film, both in terms of scenes that you could see as having religious ideas, a theme going through of salvation, guidance, temptation, confession, and so on, and also the idea of the importance of religion as a moral compass for Maria in order to achieve the sense of grace that she achieves, in my opinion, at the end of the film. I hope that's been useful.